Hello and welcome to Top Stories today. The number of children who died before their 5th birthday has reached a historic low, dropping to 4.9 million in 2022, the latest report by the United Nations Interagency Group for Child Mortality Estimation showed. The UN says a new land route has been used to deliver food to northern Gaza for the first time in 3 weeks. In sports, Kadri Aruna maintained his status as the best-ranked African player in the world, occupying the 11th position ahead of African Games champion Omar Assa of Egypt, who is ranked 22nd in the world, while compatriot Ofiong Adem leads the lead of African players in the 2024 Week 11 rankings released by the International Table Tennis Federation yesterday, Tuesday. Welcome to News Hour. This hour with me, Chioma Vicchwemeka. The news in full. The number of children who died before their 5th birthday has reached a historic low, dropping to 4.9 million in 2022, the latest report by the United Nations Interagency Group for Child Mortality Estimation showed. The UNIGME is led by the United Nations Children's Fund and includes the World Health Organization, the World Bank Group, and the Population Division of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. The report released today, Wednesday, revealed that more children are surviving today than ever before, with the global under-5 mortality rate declining by 51% since 2000. It said several low and lower middle-income countries have outpaced these declines, showing that progress is possible when resources are sufficiently allocated to primary health care, including child health and well-being. We move to education, where the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has cautioned parents and guidance against enrolling minors in the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. The Registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishak Oloyede, gave the warning while reacting to a suit filed by one Mrs. Ifeanyi Eke against the board over inappropriate text messages sent to her 15-year-old daughter during her registration. This was contained in a statement by the board spokesperson Fabian Benjamin on Wednesday. That's today in Abuja. Eke had filed a 100 million naira suit against a JAMB and 3 others before the Federal High Court in Lagos over alleged unsolicited and inappropriate text messages sent to her 15-year-old daughter. But reacting to the incident, Oloyede said the board was ready to meet with the woman, maintaining that the sender of the message was not the board staff. The registrar said since the incident happened, JAMB reported to security agencies to take appropriate action, but the woman did not care, suing for 100 million naira at the expense of the child. The federal government has postponed the launch of the Nigerian Students' Loan Scheme indefinitely. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, Akitunde Soya, made this known during an interview with newsmen yesterday, Tuesday. In June 2023, President Bola Tinubu signed a bill to start a student loan fund that would give interest-free loans to Nigerians for higher education. A former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabamila, proposed the bill, and it was supposed to start between September and October 2023. Meanwhile, President Tinubu said the program would begin in January 2024, but after missing the October deadline, however, barely 48 hours before the launch, Soya said the loan scheme was postponed due to some corrections that were being made around the launch. We move to Abia State right now, where Dr. Alex Oti, the governor, has charged management of the Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Mujike, to get to the root cause of a recent protest by students of the institution, which led to the school's closure in order to forestall future unrest. Oti gave the charge while addressing management staff of the university who visited him on Tuesday. Yesterday, he noted that such academic distortion is not healthy for the future of the younger generation. The university management suspended academic activities indefinitely following a protest by students against the increment of school fees last month. However, the governor promised to liaise with the management of the institution and other stakeholders to enable resumption of full academic activities. Move right now to Osun State, where the governor Ademola Adeleke says his administration has uncovered plans by criminals to attack schools and farm settlements in rural communities in the state. The governor, who raised the alarm in a statement signed by his spokesperson, Olawale Rashid, recently said those behind the plot plan to disrupt the implementation of the infrastructure plan of his administration and cause apprehension in the state. Adeleke, however, said he had convened a meeting of the State Security Council Council to prevent security breaches in any part of the state. The governor made reference to intelligence snippets of deliberate mobilization of criminal elements to the rural areas of the state, stressing that such reports were alarming and posed serious concern to the well-being of Osun State. He noted that his administration was worried about reports that those behind the plot are targeting disruption of farming activities through kidnappings and attacks on rural farm settlements. The federal government has invited memoranda from the public as it begins the probe of private universities established in the last 15 years. The federal government initiated the probe following an investigative report by a Nigerian journalist, Omar Alduk, uncovering certificate racketeering in neighboring Benin Republic and Togo. Now, checks has shown that no fewer than 107 private universities were established in the last 15 years. The Interministerial Investigative Committee on Degree Certificate Miling, set up by the federal government, will be examining whether or not private universities established in the last 15 years have in place prescribed facilities, appropriate management structure, adequate funding of programs, requisite state and nature of the staff, full-time, contracts, adjuncts, visiting, or other types. We are following up on this story and we'll keep updating you. The International Labour Organization has called on governments to implement policies that will guarantee labour rights and social protection of domestic workers. The ILO, in a report titled From Global Care Crisis to Quality at Home, the case of including domestic workers in care policies and ensuring their rights at work, said that domestic workers played an integral and increasing role in care provision but lacked access to social protection. It urged governments, workers and employers organizations to ensure domestic workers have access to labor rights and social protection. This comes at a time of growing global demand for paid care, with an increasing number of countries facing a crisis due to large unmet care needs and aging populations. The ILO estimated that women accounted for 3/4 of the 75.6 million domestic workers globally. Away from that, the president of the National Association of Resident Doctors in Nasarawa State, Dr. Yakubu Adeleke, has said the mass resignation of medical doctors operating in the hospitals across the 13 local government areas of the state is due to the non-implementation of promotion for 8 years and the poor welfare package of the state government. Speaking recently, the state's NERD President Adeleke narrated that for over 2 years, the doctors had been reaching out to the state government to take steps towards addressing their demands bordering on welfare, but all their efforts proved abortive. He lamented that despite the several promises of the state governor, Abdullahi Sule, to address the plight of the medical practitioners in the state, nothing had been done about their demands. The commander of 63 Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Ugochukwu Nachukwu, yesterday Tuesday said the army uncovered an illegal gun factory in Onitsha Olona community, an Onitsha local government area of Delta State. A father, mother, sister and brother were among those arrested at the illegal factory, which according to the military can produce 10 guns per week. Speaking at the illegal arms factory site, Onachukwu said the prime suspect, 22-year-old Emmanuel Ebuka, admitted to having rented some of the arms to criminal elements for set fees. The army commander said the activities of the suspect were a major contributor to insecurity in the region and the country at large. In Anambra State, in line with Gov Soludo's mantra of technology everywhere and everything technology, 2,000 head teachers and principals of public schools and public mission schools have benefited from state government's free distribution of laptops. Governor Chukwuma Soludo performed the first phase of distribution of the laptops at the International Convention Center, Awka. According to the governor, his administration is aspiring to reposition Anambra public schools to become smart, calling on the head teachers to also aspire to become smart as well. The governor assured of working out a structured training program that will enable teachers key into cutting-edge technology and emphasize that as resources continue to improve, more people will benefit from the intervention. The governor, who revealed that as a result of the free education in the state, enrollment in public schools in Anambra State has gone up to 20%, expressing confidence that the enrollment percentage will still go up. While stating that the initiative ties into the 6 comprehensive pillars of education, the Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Choma Ude, described the event as epoch-making in the history of the state, noting that the education family is the most favored in the present administration. Still in Anambra State, the state government has re-emphasized its commitment to eliminating all forms of touting activities and illegal collection of levies in the state. The chairman director Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra Ocha Brigade, Comrade Celestine Anere, said that these when a group of commercial bus drivers from Onitsha paid him a courtesy visit at his office in Oka. Addressing the group, the Ocha Brigade boss thanked them for speaking with one voice and made it known that the state government is determined to eradicate all forms of illegalities in the state and promote easy ways of doing business. He assured the drivers that Ocha Brigade will be on surveillance around the clock in order to outsmart the antics of illegal revenue collectors in the state on the key complaints against some security personnel and road traffic workers. Mr. Anare assured drivers that he will bring the issue to the attention of all relevant authorities to ensure that the bag eggs are flushed out of the system and prosecuted accordingly under the law. The Anambra State Governor's wife, Mrs. Gov Soludo, has explained that the major aim of a breast cancer mitigation program is to help women deal with the threats of the dangerous disease through early detection. Mrs. Soludo said these when she received representatives from the World Health Organization and staff of the State Ministry of Health at the Governor's Lodge, Amobia. In her remarks, the governor's wife commended WHO's commitment to stronger health partnerships with the state, including its active involvement in the first phase of the free cervical cancer screening and treatment in the state. She also applauded the WHO for affirming support for the planned breast cancer mitigation program, which she is championing, and for also agreeing to support the inclusion of prostate cancer screening in the same program. On his part, the WHO medical officer for non-communicable diseases, Dr. Kelias Yambuza, extended that's WHO's commendation to Mrs. Soludo for her input in the cervical cancer screening and treatment initiative, and disclosed that the organization is going to support her programs, including the breast cancer mitigation program, to ensure that it achieves optimum results. Away from that, we move to China, where China has said the Philippines ignored proposals it put forward to manage their dispute in the South China Sea. An unnamed senior Chinese official told news outlet that the deal was met with inaction by the Marcos administration. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said they did not reject the deal, but said it stood on a questionable premise. The South China Sea is at the center of a territorial dispute between China and the Philippines and other countries. But tensions between Manila and Beijing have sharply escalated in recent months. At the heat and the heart of it is a decaying ship on Second Thomas Shoal that the Philippines have purposely marooned to reinforce its claim in the shoal. The UN says a new land route has been used to deliver food to northern Gaza for the first time in 3 weeks. The Israeli military said 6 lorries from the World Food Programme crossed via a gate in the Gaza border fence. Tuesday's night, that's yesterday, delivery was part of a pilot to prevent Hamas from taking over the aid, it added. It comes amid global pressure on Israel to allow more access to the Palestinian territory for aid amid a looming famine as it continues its war on Hamas. A boat carrying 200 tons of food aid for distribution by a charity also set sail from Cyprus on Tuesday yesterday, inaugurating a new maritime corridor into the Palestinian territory. It is expected to arrive near Gaza on Thursday. That will be tomorrow. However, it has been widely pointed out that access by road remains the quickest way to get in urgently needed supplies. The UN said the World Food Programme convoy was able to use an Israeli military road that runs along the Gaza border fence to reach the north and deliver enough food for 25,000 people to Gaza City. In the interesting world of sport, Team Nigeria won 6 more gold medals in the weightlifting event of the ongoing African Games in Ghana yesterday, Tuesday, through Ruth Ayodele and Joy Eze, who won 3 each in the 64 kilograms and 71 kg respectively. After Monday's routine, which saw Eddie Diong Umuafia opened the floodgates with 3 gold medals, the lifters returned to the GCB Hall of the University of Ghana and took Nigeria's tally to 15 in the event. Ayodele is competing in her first African Games and claimed her 3 gold in the 64 kg lifting, 94 kg snatch, 114 kg clean and jerk, totaling 208 kg, while Eze, in her second appearance at the Games, also followed suit with 3 gold medals in the 71 kg, lifting 90 kg snatch, 117 clean and jerk to get a total of 207 kg. On Monday night, Folashade Lawal and Adijat Olarioye were also in action, winning 3 gold each in the women's 55 kg and 59 kg respectively, after Mafia had won 3 earlier in the day. Congratulations to them. Nigeria will go head-to-head against 18th ranked Uganda in the 3rd place match of the women's cricket event at the ongoing African Games in Ghana, as the event's debut reaches on exciting climax at the Achimota Cricket Oval in Accra today, Wednesday. The female Yellow Greens lost by 5 wickets against Zimbabwe in the semi-finals, while Uganda lost by 50 runs against South Africa to set up the clash and leave the first 2 teams on the continent to also slug it out for silver and gold, with 9 places between Nigeria 27 and Uganda 18 in the T20 rankings. The female Yellow Greens will not be buoyed by the credentials of the Victoria Pearls, having faced and conquered a higher-ranked opponent in Namibia during the group stages. And finally, in sports, following what they tagged the shady deals behind the concession of the National Stadium, Lagos, some stakeholders and sports entities have called on the federal government to investigate the ongoing process, which they claim is secretive and hasn't followed due process. They also urged the federal government to instead renovate the sporting arena and put it into good use. The federal government had announced plans to concession the stadium as part of its public-private partnership initiative, but close watchers of the move said it's being plagued by dirty politics and racketeering, which they claim has not followed the due process. Kadiri Aruna maintained his status as the best-ranked African player in the world, occupying the 11th position ahead of African Games champion Omar Assa of Egypt, who is ranked 22nd in the world, while compatriot Ofiog Edem leads the rise of African players in the 2024 Week 11 rankings released by the International Table Tennis Federation yesterday, Tuesday. The latest ranking followed the conclusion of the table tennis event at the ongoing 13th African Games in Ghana. Edem, who won bronze in the women's singles event in Ghana, gained 45 steps up to be rated 97 as the best-ranked female Nigerian player in the world. However, the biggest move in the world is Algeria's Lucia Mubarak, who was unranked before the African Games but moved by 554 steps to be ranked 103 in the world as the highest-ranked Algerian female player globally, while bronze medalist in the men's singles event and Senegal's Ibrahima Diawa moved by 26 steps to be ranked 67 in the world. With that story in sport, we'll wrap it up on this hour's news hour. A quick reminder of the top stories. The number of children who died before their 5th birthday has reached a historic low, dropping to 4.9 million in 2022. The latest report by the United Nations Interagency Group for Child Mortality Estimation showed. The UN says a new land route has been used to deliver food to northern Gaza for the first time in 3 weeks. Kadri Aruna maintained his status as the best-ranked African player in the world, occupying the 11th position ahead of African Games champion Omar Assa of Egypt, who is ranked 22nd in the world, while compatriot Ofiong Edem leads the rise of African players in the 2024 Week 2 rankings released by the International Table Tennis Federation on Tuesday. All right, that's it on the World News today. On behalf of the editorial and news and the production crew, my name is Choma Vikchkwemka. Another live news will come your way, 4 p.m. Nigerian time. Kindly stay with us here on TV Sapiencia. Be security conscious, be on the alert, whatever it is you do, ensure you are on the right path of the law. See you at 4 p.m. Stay with us.